this has nothing to do with like me calling them losers on my podcast or something. Why are you bringing
Well, because
that?
the discussion was that Heather Dubrow called everybody losers.
There you go.
And Andy was like, why are you taking this out on Heather, Tamra? Didn't you spend 3 years you're off the show calling Emily and Gina and everyone on the show losers? And she's like, exactly. That's not the point we're trying to make now. And Andy's like, isn't it the exact same thing? And she's like, basically, fuck you.
Shut the fuck up. So I don't think so either. And it'll be interesting to see if Shannon gets a pause or not. Shannon apparently is getting out treatment program. Do you believe this? Getting therapy. It's a wellness therapy with a component of talking about sobriety. What do we think this means anything?
No, I think if you really look, if you are truly an alcoholic, it is, you listen to people like Lala and people that have been through the program, they tell you it is so. Bronwyn is a very good friend of mine. I don't know if everyone knows this. I speak to Bronwyn all the time. It's a constant check-in and struggle, which I can understand, especially in certain lifestyles. So, and I don't mean gay, I mean the entertainment business and, being around people that are out all the time. So it's a really hard thing. So if Shannon really needs help, I don't even think a program is so. It's a really hard thing to be. You really have to want it. So who am I to judge, because I'm not an alcoholic? But I mean, I don't think that just therapy and a program that might also involve talking about it is going to help if she truly needs help. No, I don't think so.
What do you make of Vicki? Vicki spoke out for the first time because after the DUI, Shannon stayed with her because Vicki's in a gated community where press can't get in. But Vicki essentially says that Shannon is an Uber woman, that Shannon's mortified. She's taking complete responsibility. Shannon never drinks and drives. But that night, she left her phone at a restaurant. She didn't have her phone. She didn't have a way to call an Uber. You're rolling your eyes. Didn't have a way to call an Uber, had too many clearly with friends, and thought she could just drive back to the restaurant or something and try to see if she could get her phone or try to drive home. Are you believing any of this? And I can't remember if they asked Vicki if Vicki thought she had a drinking problem, but I know Vicki reiterated that she's seeking treatment and outpatient treatment or whatever. But a lot of people have said they don't think she's an alcoholic. So I mean, I gave my 2 cents last time.
Listen, again, what do I know? From where I'm sitting and observing, the alcoholics of Bravo that come to my mind, I mean, Sonja Morgan is my number one that I've observed in person. And I believe Sonja is truly, and I'm not saying that with shade, shame, anything. I believe that she is saddened by the life that she had as a Morgan with hundreds of millions of dollars, and she cannot get over the fact that that life is over. I am not shading her. I am not looking down upon her. My armchair psychology assessment of Sonja Morgan is that she is a true alcoholic and needs help. Do I feel that way about Shannon? I'm less convinced. I'm not picking on Sonja. She's the number one that I know in life that's the person I go to. There are others. Yeah, I mean, Shannon's up there, but I'm not, I don't know if she is. Look, take away my wallet, I'm freaking out. Take away my phone, I would literally be, I couldn't exist. So if ever there was, I understand the thought process is all I'm saying of like, what am I going to do? Like, okay, this is not the same thing. I don't drive, but in the Hamptons, there's no cell towers. There's just no cell towers. We will never have cell towers in the Hamptons. So I have gone to parties in the Hamptons with my phone where I cannot call an Uber. This is rare, but I've had to say to someone, I know we just met. Where are you going? Okay, wherever you're going, you can literally pull the car over and just drop me off at the side of the road. I just need to get somewhere I can call an Uber. So to not have a phone, I'm not justifying anything. I'm just saying, like, what are you going to do? Like, who are you going to call? Now, I personally have 2 phones for this I have a backup phone. I have a burner phone for all the things I do.
Okay, but you know what? You and I are at Hotel Bel Air. You get there, you realize you don't have your phone. We had a few cocktails. Maybe it was a night we had even more cocktails. I mean, I would get you home, but you can do an Uber multiple drop-offs. I
But
mean,
if she was home by herself, like, what do you do if you're home in your
well, I don't
house?
think she was home. Didn't she have dinner with friends? She left her phone at a restaurant, is what Vicky's saying, or she was
I
over at John's?
I thought, I could be wrong. I thought she
Okay,
was, and
tell
I'm
me.
not justifying it. There's no, people are dead. People listening to this have children and brothers and sisters and aunts that are dead from drunk driving. I'm just, no, I think she left it at a restaurant and was like, well, I need my phone. Yeah, like you would think in the morning the phone's not going to be there if I just go back. But obviously you're drunk and this is not a good. So it's look, I believe all of the above. I'm not justifying it. I understood. I panic when I don't have my phone. And I also am not sure she's an alcoholic, but I'm not sure she's not an alcoholic. And I believe Vicki when she says I'm mortified. I also think no shade to Vicki, but can we just talk about like Vicki and Tamra? I think, listen, no one took as bad as Tamra took her firing. Vicki took her own firing much worse. Like this is Tamra's life. This is Vicki's life. So, I mean, how happy are Vicki and Tamra that they're in the discussion? One's a housewife, one's a friend of, neither are going anywhere. Lots of talk of upgrading Vicki again. I mean, to have it and lose it? Is it better to have tons of money and lose it than to never have had tons of money? Is it better to have true love and lose it through a death than to never have had it? Same question with the housewives. I believe
So good.
that Vicki she couldn't get over it. She wasn't doing well, guys. She wasn't doing well. She couldn't get over it. So to be
Wait,
back,
you're saying you'd say you in life would say you'd just rather not be rich than to be rich and lose that.
no, I'm not saying that. No. Any money you get your hands on, guys, take it and run. Daddy loves money. Daddy loves money.
What about love? What about love? I mean, have you ever been in love? And is that
Fuck.
like, have you ever been so madly in love? I mean, because that's the other thing about this whole Shannon story, right? On part two of the reunion. Apparently she is more in love with John than she has been with any other man ever in her. She's addicted to John. She cannot get over him. She's like so in love with him. She'd do anything. And that's sort of what, oh God, Jeff
Jeff
Lewis was
Lewis.
saying. Her friend Jeff was basically implying that John is not a good influence because she will do anything to be with John.
Well,
Now, what about you? Have you been so madly in love and then it went away?
before we answer that question, I would like to make a comment to what you just said that if that is the case, and I watched the reunion, she did say that. The reunion, first of all, for me, that's a cringe moment. Like I cringed feeling bad for Shannon. You even kind of see Heather Dubrow kind of wince up. Like it's almost like but if that is the case, then Shannon, despite the fact that she may need AA, she needs severe counseling to get under the hood of the car. You gotta that's not the answer that you're hoping John proposes to you and you'll stop drinking if you have a happy marriage to John. No, you need to break up with John. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing is you need to not date anybody else tomorrow for 1 year, 365 days. And then you need to go to intense counseling, which you've started an outpatient program, and you need to figure out why you cannot stand on your own 2 feet, that you go from David Beador, who treats you like fucking shit, to doing anything for somebody, whether they're a good guy or not, that you feel you're just so in love with, and please like me, please like me, please like me. Let me tell you guys something, guys and gals out there. The person that you're saying, please like me to, will never like you. The person you're saying, please love me, will never love you. It's
So
first.
true.
Yeah. So my next life, I'm starting an advice podcast. Everything I'm saying right now is so true.
So true.
I am
My
not coming down on Shannon. She needs to figure out, she needs to be alone. Break up with John, and you need to spend the next year alone. Go on.
No, I love it. You're absolutely right. I made my husband chase me for like 6 years and it worked. And I don't really recommend this because I can't even believe he stayed with me, but he was way more in love with me than I was with him. And I did love him. So I'm not going to say that John doesn't love Shannon. But anyway, I mean, I made my husband chase me and then he sort of was like at his wit's end. And that's when I flipped the switch. I was like, we're getting married. we got married like 9 months later and it totally worked. Yeah. Yeah. But if you're the one that's like begging, I mean, I guess I say that and I married my husband and I'm like so glad he married me because it's like the best marriage. I mean, it wasn't like, I wasn't like, oh, you can't live with me. You know what I mean? We did. So I guess I should shut up. I don't think this is very good advice. Anyhow, that was good advice. Sorry, David.
No, I understand. I mean, I think
You
I
know what I'm saying?
understand.
You gotta have like, but I think you gotta like let them chase you a little bit,
And at least
And
not
Shannon
say,
never
yeah.
had anybody chase her. I feel like Shannon's always chasing these men. Yeah. You gotta get a man. When they chase you, they are so hook, line, and sinker, and they will do anything for you. And I'm sure it works like that in in your world too, like in the gay world. Like once you get it, is that like, I'm sure if you got
Listen,
one of the guys that was so in love with you, chasing you, he'd do anything for you.
listen, regardless of all of that, and I agree with all of that, this is such a cliche, but it is so true. You have to be completely, 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 completely happy by yourself, able to die alone, able to grow old alone, able to live your life alone. And until you do that, you will never, ever be able to find true love.
I
Period.
hate
The end.
your preach. I hate being right. And I've said Nene is in a bad place. Nene is, if Greg were still here, Nene never would have done Bethany's podcast. And sadly, Nene has relaunched her YouTube channel. That's great. I think that's terrific. But did you see that video where she came on and considered an open marriage and anything to just have somebody so she would have an emergency contact to put? I'm like, oh my God, I just like, I want to be best friends with her so badly to like counsel her. I'm like, you're so lost. You know what I mean? Like I know I saw my mom lose my dad when I was in high school and like